Hello my friends, John LaRuffa here with another straight up solo. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at Golem, and we're going to do it from the solo perspective, okay? And I'm going to show you this game solo, and I want to help you understand, is it something that you want to purchase? So I'll talk about the game, I'll talk about the theme, I'll talk about the solo play, and we'll see if it appeals to you. All right, let's get started. Okay, folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel as it greatly helps me out. So let me give you an overview of what you're looking at, because there is a lot going on with this game. There's a lot going on the board. There's a lot of setup, and even so much that some of it doesn't even fit on the table. So this is my player board here, and it's identical to the one that the solo AI has, except the solo bot has this little resource tracker here and a little priority thing here. They also get a deck of cards, which I'll explain to you as far as how that works, how that helps them make decisions. And in your area, you've got areas that you can upgrade. So you've got these areas right here where you'll be able to play cards, and you can upgrade those. This can be upgraded here, which is your book knowledge. That can be helped and help you get more control of more knowledge to be more controlling of your golems throughout the game. You have the actual little golem upgrades that you can do. You've got artifacts that you could do. You've got a track here that tracks your golem strength based on how many you've built. And so there's a lot of little tracks, okay? And then, speaking of tracks, there's more tracks. You've got this blue track, this orange track, and this red track that has green tiles on it, which is, I know people have complained about this. I think it's a valid complaint. These green tiles just don't scream red, and everything else is red with that red track. I mean, the only thing that's red here is this, plus a little bit of the path, and yeah, you can see a little red shading, but they could have tinted those red, and that would have been a lot easier to see. It just throws you off, and unfortunately with this game, having so many different things going on, you don't need any of those things to throw you off, but you'll get used to it. I'm just pointing it out that I think it is valid. Then you've got this synagogue here where you drop in the marbles. And also, lots of people have concerns about the marbles and how they drop in. I will say this. I find that they do a decent job randomly distributing what's going to happen if you actually grab all those marbles and you dump them in from the back. And I'm going to demonstrate that for you right now, just so you can kind of see. Because if you dump them in from the sides, or you don't do a good job, it's going to cascade down. Crud. It's going to cascade down just like you think, right? There's not a lot of, levers inside there or diverters or anything else. There's two of them, which are fine, but those basically don't really scramble the marbles much. You really kind of have to give them a good shake, come to the back, and then pour them in like that. And you notice, did you see the difference in the distribution? Before it was heavier over here and not as much over here. Now it's changed. So I do think this is effective. But I will say that it seems that it is very much depending on your skill, how you want to do this, as far as how it goes. There are apps online that will randomize this, so you don't even have to use it if you don't want to. But that's up to you. I do think it's a clever mechanic nonetheless. Oh, look, shoot, I never had that happen before. Two of these got stuck. That's never happened. Okay, anyway, there's the distribution. You can tell it was different than what we had there before. Now, what's going on in this game? This is a very, very unique theme game with unique mechanics, I think. And I can't really explain a lot of, or compare a lot of it to other things, because it's sort of like, it's not really worker placement, it's like worker advancement. And the farther your workers get, the farther golems get over here and the farther your students get over here, it's all good news. But if the golems get too far, you start to get penalized. They kind of have to move. You're forced to move them every time. So the actions get better as you go. But then after you cross this line right here, you start getting penalized if the golem gets too far. And you have to either pay that in points or in money, or not money, knowledge. And so there's this situation where you're moving the golems over here because it's forced every turn. You're trying to keep up with your teacher there, because if your teacher gets too far behind, you have to pay knowledge for the spaces in between. If you can't pay those, you lose 5 points. And that's extremely crippling to lose up to 15 points, in your track, so you can't keep your golems under control. So you don't want that to happen, and that's a good sense of tension in this game. Certainly the first and second play, I've played it twice now, you will feel like, man, I better not do that, because in my first play I lost control of my golems. They kept going forward, and I lost a bunch of points. That made it difficult for me to try to come back. The other thing we've got here is we've got some different round cards. So these things are going to be things that you can activate depending on what you pick over here. And those are activated at kind of the end of the round. You've got book cards here that allow you to do some book benefits over there to help you get more resources, score points, do some one-off benefits. You have some objectives over here. So there's a lot of Euro-ness pumped into this game. It's kind of like a major infusion of many different Euro mechanics. And I will say one thing, that the iconography here in this game is a bit overwhelming. You will learn it, and they did do a decent job making sure they explained it all in the rule book, which is good. What do we got here? What happened? You know, they give you page after page of this stuff, and that's good. They need to. It's important, because they're just not, some of them are counterintuitive for sure, but some of the ones are not as counterintuitive as I would like it. You know, they say, like, they give you the exclamation mark, and the exclamation mark means take an action, but it also means activate stuff, and there's just things that, I mean, yes, the more you play, the more you'll get to it like usual, but I think that that's something to note for your first couple of plays. Don't get too bogged down in the fact that that takes some of the speediness of this game out, because you're constantly looking things up, you know, and so that was a little bit of a detractor for me playing it the first time, but it does get better as you go. Okay, so those are the components, and then you've got your three resources. You've got clay for your golems, you get knowledge to control them, you've got coins for, you know, the usual money costs and things like that. And then just like some other Euro games, at the end of the round, or yeah, it's going to be near the end of the round, you are going to have income tracks. So everything that you've unlocked that has a hand, you get income for that. And that will, yeah, that'll be fun for those who like that mechanic. I do. So you definitely have an engine building style to this game based on how that goes. Okay, so that is the overview. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna play a couple turns. I'm gonna come back, and then I'm gonna show you some examples, and then we'll see how the AI plays, and then you'll be able to figure out whether this is for you or not. Okay, I've played through the first round. I'm going to show you now how the game plays for the second round. Before I do that, I want to talk to you about the way that the AI works, okay? So the AI works by drawing these cards, and you're going to draw one card for them for the first turn. If this number right here is equal to or lower than the difficulty level you're playing, the AI will get this reward, okay? There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, where 1 is the easiest and 4 is the hardest. Then the first column will determine what the AI is going to do. If it's a column with marbles in it, that means the AI is going to choose from the synagogue stack, okay? And when that happens, it will do it in the order of priority right here. For instance, it'll choose the one that has the most in the row. Then from there, it will choose the one that is in the left side of the whatever that card is, the character card over here. And that'll tell you what the color is that they're going to choose. And they choose it, they do the action, and that's it. If there is anything to do with which book it should take, it will use this if it's doing the book action. And if it has, and these don't have it, but if this is the little person action, the rabbi action is first, it will do the rabbi action first, and it will do it with that number. Now, also, if on the second time you draw the card and you lay it next to your card and it makes a little rabbi like that, it will jump to the rabbi action no matter what. It will not do what's over here. It'll take that. So that is how the AI is controlled. And from that side of things, very simple to do. However, there are so many priorities with how the AI works. Without this, and this is a gem, folks. Without this, you'd be racking your head against this game until you mastered it yourself, and then you could kind of play like what this makes the most sense. But this thing on the back here, this choices and tiebreakers, really spells out what you're trying to do. Which golem should he kill? This one and this one. Where do I buy it? Over here. Where to place a colored book. It tells you all these things, and I love this. And I think that everybody who designs about this complexity, whether you have all these different things, something like this is extremely nice. You know, they could have made a flow chart, they could have made something else. It doesn't matter exactly what it is, but having it on one page you can just put down and not have to leaf through all these things is essential for a game like this. Okay, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and go through a round here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to gather up all of our marbles and we're going to drop them into the synagogue again. All right, so you'll get at least a couple of these on the camera that you can see, and you can judge for yourself whether you think it's randomly distributed or not. Okay, so I'm going to give them a shake here. And then in we go, like that. All right, so looks like the golem column got shorted this time, but there's a lot of the mirror action, a decent amount in these two, where it's the money and the knowledge, and then just a little bit on the work. So it's my thought that probably the outside actions will be a little bit less than the inside ones. That's just a guess of mine as far as how those marbles go in. Okay, so that's that. Then we flip over this card because this card was used last round, so that's done. Then we burn a card up here in classic Euro fashion till we get deeper into these book decks, all right? And then that is the end of the reset phase, the first phase. Now we move our golems. The golems move according to what level the marker is on our golem track. So mine is a 3 plus 3 more. It means I have to move my golems a total of 6. If I had this upgrade right here like the AI does, I would not have to add that 3, but I do have to add that 3. So what you do to move a golem is if they're laying down, meaning they worked last time, you stand them up. That doesn't count as a move, but that's how you get them to work again. And I got to split these however I want. So I'm actually going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go 5. Boy, oh boy. Maybe 6 like this. All right, so that means that my teachers or the students are way out there. I've got to get these guys up here. I'm going to have to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 knowledge at the end of the round to catch up with those golems. And that's going to be very difficult to do. Now, the AI, he will not use that 3 over there. He has to move 6 because he's got a couple of golems out here. And the way he does it, he stands up the one that's furthest back, and he'll stand up this one also. And then basically what he'll do is he'll try to advance as slowly as possible with what he has, okay? So it will first advance this one because it was behind. It was laying down, that's 1. It advanced this because it was laying down, that's 2. And then it'll go 3, 4, and then we look, because there's a tie on these, we're going to look at this priority here and figure out what comes next. This one is red, so it's going to come next. This is 5, and then we're going to go to the blue, 6. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but that is his 6. That's how he's going to do it. Again, he does not have to do that plus 3 because he has a thing that lets him opt out of that. He upgraded his golem capability in that previous round. So that is moving the golems. Now we have moved. Now we get into the meat and potatoes of the actions. I forgot to rotate these out in that first phase. So these are out. We have 3 new singular rabbi actions. Nice. That we could take. And those are varied. Okay, so they could be lots of different things. And so now we're going to go ahead and turn order. He's going to take the first turn. So he's going to flip over a card. What does he see here? So he sees, let me get that to focus. He's going to see, okay, he's going to take a marble action first. We're playing on difficulty level 2, so none of this applies. Marble action, it's going to be the red marble. So he's going to look for the red one. And then there's 2 columns that have red ones out there. And of those, then he's going to look with the one that also has one of the other ones, which is a blue one. Well, there is no blue one over there, so he's going to go with the max. So he's going to take this red one right here, which is in this spot because it's got the max and it's red. When he chooses the red, he's going to move his red guy on the red track 1 space, okay? He puts the red down. That was a strength of 3 in there. Boy, I hope I didn't forget that one. I think it's right there. We're going to play it like it was. And, the funny thing is there's so much to juggle. You got to really be paying attention. And I should have. Okay, so anyway, let's assume it was from there. So that X means the level of, or the number of marbles in there is how much he's going to get. So he's going to get 4 resources, 4 gold, coins, I guess, not gold, coins. 1, 2, 3, 4. He does that on his track, all right? Because all of his resources are the same. Now, he is going to do one upgrade. It's a gold upgrade. He's going to do it once. The gold upgrade, we go to our handy-dandy sheet over here, which is great, again. And here's our gold upgrades, and it says, which artifact to develop upgrade in rounds 1 to 3 with the gold. It says bottom most available space. Okay, so the bottom most available space would be this one right here, this 5. Whoops. And you can't see it in his board, but he's over here. So with that, he is going to take this upgrade right here, put it on there, and spend 5 resources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if he can get 1 gold, he'll be able to take advantage of this upgrading artifact mechanism. And so that was that. Now he could spend 3 resources for 1 gold. He will do this if he is, I don't remember, no, I'm not sure about this. I'm going to play it like he's going to do it even though he's got negative resources here. But I don't think that's true. I think that he doesn't do those things if he's in here. So he's going to skip that step. Let me just make sure. And again, this is some of those things you got to be really understanding what the AI does, what he does, and what he doesn't do. When we look at that spot there, bonus effects, nope. All right, we're going to pause the video and I'll just take a quick look here. Okay, so for the best I can tell, it will pay in this case. And I actually shorted him a couple of bucks in the starting round. So we're going to pay 3, 1, 2, 3. And he's going to put that gold down on his first artifact spot, which I'm not sure you can see. That activates the artifact, and he has a ×2 there already. So he's going to get 4 gold and 2 points right now. So, I'm sorry, 4 coins and 2 points. He doesn't get the coins. He just gets it here. 1, 2, 3, 4 on his track, and he gets the 2 points. Okay, and his first turn is complete. Now it's time for my turn. And I've got a real problem with these students being so far back. So either I need to get a bunch of knowledge, which I actually kind of have, or I have to somehow advance the students to help me get caught up. Now, the one thing I could do is, I can't do that. I was going to say I could spend a book, but I'm a little shy on books. And it's really these upgrades right here that I'm talking about. How else could I get a book? Well, I could get a book over here. So the way the marble colors work is the red, the yellow, and the blue. If you take a marble, you move up in that track like that. If you take a white, you don't move up any of the tracks, but it counts as any color for the purposes of that little bonus at the end of the round. If you take a black, you get to move 2 up no matter what. So actually, I'm going to take this black, move 2 different guys up. I'm going to move him up 1, and I'm going to move him up 1. That's going to help me kind of keep up with my golems. So I took the black. The black won't count for this, but that's okay. I'll live. And that was a strength of 5. So the mirror means I pay 1 coin, and then I can take any action I want as if the X was 5, okay? So in that case, I think what I ought to do, because I don't have a lot of golems on the board, and I need to take advantage of that, is I will probably build a golem. So I could take this action right there, and that would let me, in fact, I think that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to get 5 of these clay. Then I can get an upgrade here. And the upgrade I'm going to get is going to be this one. Maybe I could do, I'm going to do the one here where it lets me immediately move a golem 1 and take the action. I think that's the right one for me. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to spend 3. We're going to flip this over. Now, it says build a golem. I think it says, these are the things that I always have to refer to this. I don't know, it's just not intuitive to me. So what it says here is every time you make a golem, you may take 1 step with that golem and activate it without laying it down. Okay, well that's good because I'm about to make a golem and do that. So let's make a golem. It's going to be 3. All right, we've done that. We're going to advance this here. Then we're going to put the golem. I think we're going to do this because I do want to do another artifact upgrade over here. So I'm going to advance him 1, and then I'm going to use that. I'm going to be able to get an artifact upgrade here for $2 less. So that means I'll have to spend 3. And in this case, I'm going to put this down here because I want to do it so every time I take a book, the first book in this row, which I haven't done yet, I will be able to activate this, which I think will be good. All right, so that was my action. I did that. I did the movement of the students. I took care of all that stuff. Oh, and then I can spend $3, which I will do, 1, 2, 3, to move up once on, I'm sorry, to take a card, which is exactly what I want to do. So now to take a card, I have my selection over here. And to pay for the card, you have to pay what's down here plus whatever's in that spot. In the case of what I'm doing now, I think I'm going to buy this one. It's 4. So it's going to cost me 4 knowledge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have to put it in a spot that is equal to, or it matches the color here. So if I do that, I put it over here. That doesn't get me to activate that, unfortunately, but I do want to do that because then I can at least get some more payouts on some stuff that I've done. So the first thing that happens is, before that's the instant action, I can do an upgrade for 3 clay less, and I am going to do that. I'm going to do this one here, which lets me, every time I immediately can kill a golem, which I'm going to do because I've got one that's basically out of control all the way up here. I'm going to kill this golem, and when I do that, I get double the reward, okay? So I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to get a double move up, and I swear I cannot know for sure if it's this turn or next turn, but I'm going to play it as if you kill one right away and you do it right away because I feel like this game is hard enough as it is. So that would hopefully be what's the implication there. So when I kill this golem, I have to move down one of my golem track there, and then I get double the benefit here, which means I can move another guy up 2 spaces, which is good. So here we go, 1, 2. So I'm solving that problem I have because I killed off my 1, and now I've caught up. So now I'm not in real trouble there, which is awesome. Now I get all of these things. So I'm going to get 4 more knowledge. Let's take a 5, do that. I get a coin. Then I get another coin and a clay. Okay, so now you see how these book actions kind of work. You're never able to mix colors. So if you get the same color, you have to put it in the same spot. At the end of the game, you're going to get points based on the number of different colors you have. And black can also be paired with other ones as well. Okay, so we've moved that here. All right, now we are going to flip over the AI's card, and the AI has another one where it is going to take the action of the marble right away. However, it's going to do this first. So this I've got to look up. I think this means if I have 0 to 1 golem, I build another golem for 0. But I got to look that up because it's just too hard to remember all these things. All right, so in the bonuses it says, if the automa has 0 or 1 golems present in district, it builds 1 without any discount. Well, I have tons of golems out there, so he's not going to need to build a golem. Now he's going to look and he's going to choose the one that is based on his priority first. In this case, it will be the red one. So he's going to choose this one right here. He picks this up. It's a 1 strength. That gets him 1 resource. He can take the upgrade. He's going to take the cheapest upgrade possible. That's a 3 resource upgrade, 1, 2, 3, which lets him do the exact same thing that I just turned on with his golems. Then he's going to build a golem if he can afford it. However, he cannot afford it. That would be, he has to spend 6. Maybe he can actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can afford it. And then he's going to put it in the district that's the cheapest, that aligns with his priority. So it's going to be right here. So he goes up 2. Then he moves this forward because of his upgrade. And he gets to activate that right away, which means he can do an upgrade here for 2 less. And in that case, it would be this one right here. So he is going to upgrade that. He puts this here on his artifacts tile, and he then loses a point because he bumped below the resources that he was his max resource, so he lost a point there. And that's his turn. Now, back to me. I've already given up on this, so I don't have to worry about it. I need to maximize what I'm doing, and I have a decent amount of golems on the board now, which is good. So I'm okay with that. I've got a decent amount of knowledge and a decent amount of clay, so I'm actually in pretty good shape with regards to everything there. I'll tell you one thing I find with this game is that there's so much going on, it's a little distracting to keep your strategy straight, but that's just because I haven't played it enough, okay? But I'm sure that as you go, you can do a better job with that. I think I'm gonna actually build myself yet another golem because I feel like that makes sense. However, there's no way to do it here, so I'm gonna have to use the mirror action to do that, okay? Now I have a bonus here saying that I need my yellow guy to be in the 5th space. So he's actually already, so he's in 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I move that up, I've accomplished that. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this yellow one. That's a strength of 4, okay? So taking the yellow moves up. He's in the 4 spot. That means I'm gonna get that bonus at the end. And I already got this bonus because I've killed 2 of my golems. And then I get to pay a coin, and now I can take an action that as if it was 4. So one of the things I think I may want to do is, do I want to go back to the book? No, I think I want to use that as if it was building a golem, like I said. So that would be a 4 on that. Let's get 4 clay. I can then do another golem upgrade, which I will do. And in this case, I think I'm going to do the golem upgrade where, yeah, I'm going to do this one. So this costs 5, 4, 5. And basically what it says is you immediately can work with a golem and then you can work with another one. Let me see, I'm gonna be sure that's what it says. Okay, immediately activate 1 golem, and every time you perform the work action, you would activate 1 additional one for no cost, which is good. So I'm gonna immediately activate, let's see. Oh boy, which one? So this one gives me another, I can chain that together, which is probably what I should do. So I will activate this. It gives me an upgrade -5, so that means it flips this over. So I've really been upgrading my golem here, which means I really want to have as much golem power as I can at the end to maximize this. I've already killed 2, so I'm probably not doing any more of those. Okay, I've paid all that, I've done all this. Now I get to spend 3 more to build a golem. I'm going to put him down here because it's the only way I could afford it. Now he's over here. I build it. Because I have that special deal, I can walk 1 and I can activate him without flipping him over, which is great. So he's done. I've done my 2 actions there. He's done his 2. Now I could have done one of these first, but I was thinking more along the lines there. So he is automatically going to do the rabbi action. He takes the first one right here. So what this means is that he is going to get 3 resources, 1, 2, 3, and he's going to draw 1 additional card, which he just scores at the end of the game. 2 points per card. It's actually like 1 point per difficulty level per card he has. Then for me, I could get a gold, and then I could score points based on the number of artifacts that I have, which I probably will do. In fact, I know I will do that because that will make a lot of sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. I'm going to take this gold. I'm going to put this gold right here in the hopes that I can somehow pull this thing off, because that'd be really cool. I think that's what I want to do, because that could really help me score, and I can focus on that. Then I get 1 point per active artifact. I have 1. That's just 1 point. That's okay. Okay, so we have done all the actions. Now we adjust turn order based on where we are here. Well, the turn order stays the same. Those then move off. Then we each will look to see, have we met the conditions of this card? He has. So he's going to get 3 gold. 1, 2, 3. I have not, so I don't get anything. So we flip, well, we'll flip that over in a second. Now we do the income phase, okay? So I look at everything I have with a hand, I get income. So I get 2 points here. So let's give me the 2. Then I get 1 move on the yellow, which is good. I get 2 knowledge here. I get 1 coin. because of that stuff over there. So that track is done. There is no more income there. I don't have any income here. Now I look at my students. My student has 1 point, 2 points. That's 3 points on those. 1, 2, 3, plus 2 brick and 2 coins. So there's that, and there's that. Notice how that's all over the place. That's one thing that's tough because you have income in these spots, and this spots, and those spots. I mean, yeah, it's only here and there, but it's just, I don't know. You know, sometimes I would think it may be helpful to put a player track out here and just have them over here so you can just quickly see the sum of it all. But I know that sometimes things go back and forth, so I don't know. But it might be a quality of gameplay just to take the potential for making mistakes down if you just had a summary track someplace. Okay, and then him. So he has, let's see, nothing there. For his artifact, he does have this. He gets it twice. So he's going to get 4 resources, then 2 points. Then he gets 1 more resource there. And he doesn't have anybody really banking a lot there. Plus he gets 4 points here, which I missed. And so he's kind of starting to catch up to me. I got a bunch of points at the beginning by killing this guy early, and that helped. Okay, so we've done all the income as far as I can tell here. And now we basically have to pay the knowledge for the distance between our golems. So I am level with him, way back there, so there's no problem there, and even there, so I don't have to pay anything. He has to pay 1, 2, 3. So he's going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. And that is the end of the second round. There are 4 rounds in this game. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. That gives you a full understanding of how round works. You saw how I built golems. You saw how I got cards. You saw how these things pay an income, how the golems activate and do the things that are there. And I think that's pretty much everything. You know, you didn't see me. I mean, I did buy a gold for 3, so you saw. I think you pretty much saw the whole thing. All right, so let me go ahead and give you my feelings on this one. Okay, so hopefully that gave you the full experience of 1 round and you got to see what this game is about. So let me tell you my thoughts. First of all, there are a lot of moving pieces in this game. It is a game that requires maximum concentration as far as I'm concerned because it's easy to miss little steps. As you can see, I pulled a marble out, I looked away and I'm like, oh shoot, I did get it from that one, right? I mean, that sounds simple, but there's just a lot going on that you have to be paying attention to. So this is not a game to play when you're not going to be fully focused on it. Secondly, there are a lot of things. There's so many things going on that you need to really concentrate on keeping your strategy together, not just executing the mechanics, because the mechanics are, complex enough that they can actually distract you. At least they can distract me from the strategy or what I'm trying to do. And in that regard, that's why it took me a little while to make this video, because I was kind of I was struggling with that. There's a lot to like about this game, but that was one thing I was like, geez, at the end of my first 2 games, I thought, I can see this is a great game here, but did I have as much fun as I have in some other games? Because there's so much to continue to think about. It's almost like the mechanics had so much going on, it made it tougher to play and enjoy the game. I think that's going to be personal preference. And I'm still going to keep this game for a while. I'm not selling it at any time in the near future. I want to keep playing it. I want to keep exploring it. I want it to become more natural. But I have to tell you that at the beginning of my plays here, just trying to execute the mechanics, even with such great things as this player aid and everything else, I kind of felt like it was more effort than it was fun. And that will change, I think, as you get more used to the game. But it was definitely one of those that was like, okay, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot to consider. And I like games like that for sure, but I would say this one's pretty heavy in that regard. And it's so heavy, there's so many steps and so many things to consider that you have a lot of interlocking mechanisms to say, is this the move I really want to take? And that's cool. It is, but it actually distracts me from the strategy sometimes. It's like, well, all right, I'm really trying to work at these goals here, but I can't focus on it right now because I'm going to pay all this stuff in here. And if I'm going to do that, I got to do this, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot going on. So players who struggle with AP, I would be very careful about this unless you like that and you can play it solo and it doesn't matter and you can take your time. But if you struggle with AP and you're like, oh, I'm not sure that that makes it fun for me to have that kind of analysis paralysis, this is probably not the game for you, because there is a lot of things that have to come into your brain in order for you to feel satisfied that, yes, this in fact is the move I want to make. And I will say this, that probably will reward the player who plays from their gut versus the player that plays by looking at every possible thing and really making sure. Because I think that this game could go on for a very long time if you try to consider every factor. I feel like in order to enjoy this game, for me, I have to play from my gut. I got to go with my impulse. Not to me, I've played recklessly, but if I didn't do my impulse, this would be a 2.5-hour solo game, just trying to think about every possible thing. Now, as it is from my gut, I'd say that this game takes a little over an hour to play solo, which is not bad at all, actually. But with the setup and all the things you have to do and everything you got to get out of bags and everything else, this isn't a quick game to just get to the table and launch into it. As a matter of fact, setup probably takes 15 minutes when you think about how you have to organize and set things up and discard cards and add tiles and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It takes some time. So this is a commitment. And if you're looking for that kind of game, this one has it in spades. If you're looking for a game that has lots of different mechanisms that all intertwine, great game. If you're looking for one that has a novel mechanic, like the marbles coming down into the temple, I think that's really cool. There's tons of different actions. You have tons of variety. So this game is it just really is a great Euro game. However, you got to make sure that you understand that what you're getting into, is it going to be fun for you, or is it going to be something you kind of appreciate, be like, well, I can only play that every now and then. And that's a personal choice I think you're going to have to make. As it is, I like the game. I think the solo is done great. That's not a great grammar way to say, but I think they did a great job on the solo because they made it simple. These cards are not that tough as far as what the actual player, the solo player, is going to do. But then if you didn't have this, I'm sorry, if you didn't have this, there'd be no fun here. It would be too much looking up in the rules, too much to try to remember to see, and I would be so exhausted I wouldn't be able to take it. And that's, saying a lot for me because I've played a ton of different games and I could balance a lot of my brain. But in this case, if I didn't have that what to do sheet, it would just be too much. So again, great job for the designers who put that into the game that makes it accessible, that makes the solo game doable. And this solo game is no small feat. There's a ton of stuff going on here. So bravo to the folks that put that together and balanced it and made sure it works. All right, so that's what I think about it. I'm going to keep Golem. I'm going to keep playing it. Ultimately, it's going to be a personal choice up to you if you can handle this amount of crunch in your brain and still have fun with a game like this. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And whatever you play in the future, I hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy, everybody.